What did I do this week? Yeah, I started with developing the next product, Forge Denim Vest, and it's essentially the Forge Denim jacket, but without the sleeves and without the collar. Because when I was making the Forge Denim jacket, I got to this point in the construction process where I've made everything, but I haven't sewn in the collar or the sleeves. And when I tried it on, I was like, yo, this looks real nice with a white tee, because I was wearing a white tee at that point. And I was like, yeah, I need to develop. Come on, Oria, get out of there. Develop a vest version. So here we are. I slightly changed the pattern, made some tweaks to it, and I started pattern drafting, pattern cutting. So I actually have all the I have some pieces cut out already, but I've already traced the patterns onto my denim over here. So we're going straight to a working sample instead of prototyping using a calico fabric. That's just because I've run out of calico fabric, and it's basically the forged denim jacket, so I know how to construct it. So I don't really need to create a prototype first in order to go straight to the denim material. I think the only thing that I would need some tweaks on maybe is the collar, because this one will be colorless, or it will have actually the mandarin color. But I'll play around and see what looks better, and then I'll begin from there. And what I've also realized this week is I have a general. To be fair, I've designed 365 looks for my previous brand Gallinacci, and that was just a sort of outlook on what the brand could possibly look like for Gallinacci. But then now that I've gone and slashed that brand and then developed it into Pioneers of Greatness and having more of a focus, a lane, building the Ralph Lauren of boxing, aka POG. I think now I'm starting to, see concepts that I can play around with that could then in turn be, the design language of POG. And that starts with, the denim, the material. Like I said on the previous entry, that denim is a working class fabric. It was used for workwear, labor intensive work in the mines, things like that. And that's one way to feed in storytelling through the materials that I choose. And then now I'm starting to realize there are also construction techniques that makes a garment flow better, for movement. And obviously boxing, it's all about, poetry in motion, being able to move this and that, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, like those concepts that I could weave into the design language of the brand. That I'm slowly discovering the more I, get my hands dirty with constructing garments, pattern making, pattern cutting, sewing, and everything else in between. And that's what I love about coming in with such coming into the space of fashion with such an unconventional sort of outlook. I have a background in architecture, so I think in systems, stages, processes, and I understand like how things how do I put this into words? the relations between things and objects, because that's what I learned in architecture, you know. So how does the material denim, how does it work with, you know, the concept of the brand, the design language, the brand identity of the brand, and then also how does it feed into the overall narrative of what I'm trying to construct for the brand, and all those, you know, things. This is apple juice, by the way. But yeah, I love that I'm slowly discovering the brand's, you know, language. And I prefer it that way, being able to discover instead of having everything all planned out down to the very minuscule details. Like I rather have like a this journey where I make a mistake, and then that mistake becomes a signature. Just like the two pleats on the Forge Denim jacket on the back of the back yoke. There's two pleats there, and those pleats are there because when I made the first iteration, the sizing or the fit was wrong. So then I had to create some darts and then add that in. And then I decided, you know what? I like this storytelling of having the darts there at the back yoke because I made a mistake, and then now that's like a sort of a scar, you know. And it basically there's a storytelling in the garment, and that's why even I called it forge. You know, I really had to forge this shit. Like I'll be using a mallet to, you know, flatten the seams where the bulk is a little bit too much. I would hammer it down with a mallet so that I could sew through it. But yeah, no, I love being able to weave those storytelling within the garment construction itself. Even incorporating my motif of the POG versus the Pacquiao and De La Hoya illustration that I made, that being one of the main sort of fights that I saw that grasped me or captivated my imagination, you know, within the sport of boxing. I actually have so many layers of storytelling that I put within this, the Forge, the very first product of POG. And that's why I love that I'm working and building this brand one product at a time, because I can really sort of narrate and include concepts that are very personal to me and my journey into one product. Like you can't say the same thing with the things you buy from, I don't know, Zara or Gucci or things like that. There's literal storytelling within these garments that I am making, you know. The more I do, the more I discover how all of these things just seem to fall together, you know. Like I didn't plan that shit. I didn't plan any of, like, I just I went along with what I felt was right, and then it all just, you know, fall into place as if it was, like, you know, meant to be, as if I already had that planned out. But the reality is I don't have any of this planned out. I have a vision, and then that vision is to bridge boxing and fashion, and then create something better than, like, you know, like a Ralph Lauren, but build that overall lifestyle brand, but for boxing. Shh, Oria, get down. And from the outside looking in, yeah, from the outside looking in, it might not even make sense, you know, but it makes sense to me, and that's what matters, you know. I'm sure when Ralph Lauren first started him creating, the lifestyle of, polo and whatnot surrounding that sport. I'm sure people, the people looking at from the outside in, they were like, "Yo, what the hell is this guy on about?" But then you look decades later, right? You can understand what he was trying to build, and that's the same thing for me. I don't need people to understand what I'm trying to build at the early stage. There'll be a time, a point in time where it will just all make sense, and I wouldn't even need to describe anything, or explain anything. Like, the body of work will talk for itself, and then the rest will be history. But for now, I'm enjoying just discovering the design language, the brand narrative, the brand identity, the motifs that I want to include, and obviously picking up the skills, learning. I'm a beginner. I'm low key a beginner with his fashion shit. Beginner with constructing garments and all of that. I'm literally learning by studying the clothes that I already have, and then from there tweaking it, making it my own silhouette, and then sharing that journey. Like, literally just today, right? I shared a video of me, just flattening my patterns because they keep rolling and like rolling on it itself. And then one person, shout out to you, yeah, you know who you are. That person suggested you should iron your patterns. And I was like, huh? Iron? I gave it a test and fuck. Look, this shit flat now. Like, this would like bunch up and roll, that it wouldn't even lay flat. But, because I shared my journey, people saw how my process is, then they can actually be share some constructive criticism to the point where they gave me an advice to iron my pattern. And that's like one of the best hacks that I've found out. Like, I didn't know I could iron fucking paper, you know? And I'm sure there's gonna be loads of those along the way, as I develop as a seamster, as I develop the pieces for POG. I'm just excited, And today, my good friend, we went to a fabric store near Camden, or in Camden, and we got some, not some, because he wanted a specific color of denim, and I was like, yeah, cool, pick your fabric. So we got one here. It's a really, oh, I don't know, it's a crazy, it's not 14 ounce, it might be like 10 ounce or even like less. So the jacket will be more flowy than why I originally wanted it to be, because the material I have is 14 ounce. But obviously this is my good friend, so I was like, yeah, man, choose your material. I'll make it out of that. And it's, I don't know, it, the wash on it is very vintage. Like, I have a pair of denim jeans that was my dad's, so I think it might be at least 20 years old, more than 20 years old, and it has the same wash. Let me see if I can find it, or maybe it's in the laundry. But I swear we just washed that. Can't seem to find it. But yeah, no, it has such a nice wash. Like, it has that, it's been used type of wash, like faded wash. But yeah, no, that can't wait to see how the Forge Denim jacket would look like in that sort of like 8 to 10 ounce light blue vintage sort of looking denim fabric. And what else? Also, with the whole marketing aspect of me posting 8 times a day, I would say it's crazy that I have to be, because my form of marketing, I don't really like to sit down, write some sort of script, and then film shit, film like create a storyboard and then film the thing, and then do the post edit stuff. I like it raw, man. I have a fucking 10-year-old GoPro here. It's not even mine, man. It's my girlfriend's, but I use it to film the uncut entries that I do. And I like it that way, it's raw. And I think that's my style of approaching marketing, especially the personal brand aspect, and then me marketing the brand. It's very raw, you know, like behind the scenes, me placing this GoPro or my iPhone or my iPad. It's whatever I have around me that I can use to film, that is easy to do. For me, it's all about ease of use. Like I have a DSLR there, that's actually my girlfriend's, but I just prefer being able to point and shoot and then post. Like I don't really care about editing and that. Like I appreciate the whole editing and color grading, the art of it, but I rather collab like I did for the shoot with the Forge Denim jacket in one of my recent reels. Like I would rather collab on that with someone who knows their craft instead of me doing it. My style is raw, and I prefer it that way because it's what I'm doing. This ain't content making, man. I'm just documenting. Literally, most of the videos I post out there, that's like recorded on the day. There's gonna be at least 1 or 2 clips that was recorded right now today, and then that's what I would post. And then sometimes I would reuse old clips from before, but there's always new clips being inserted there when I'm marketing and posting 8 times a day. And I've been doing that. I think it's been a month now, or more than a month. And I just touched 1,000 followers, and I think I was on 300. So I gained like 700 followers in like a month. And that's like not from one piece of content going viral, but it's multiple pieces of content getting like 2K, 3K. And I've had some that went viral that had like 20K, 30K, or 36K views. But even with that, you only get like 20 or 30 followers from that type of reach. So it's still relatively small, but because of the volume that I'm doing, it all adds up, 2 followers here, 3 followers there. But because I'm posting 8 times a day, it just adds up. And I think this is sort of my style, this is what fits with the way I want to be able to market. Because the way I market as well, I just I write I do an 8-second clip and then write a text. Whether it be something about my brand, I want you to know about my brand, or about my journey into fashion, or a certain unpopular opinion that I have regarding certain topics, my fitness, this and that. Because for me, I like talking uncandidly or on the top of my dome, just like this. But this is me reflecting back on what I did this week. So it's not like having a script and then following this script. I don't. For me personally, that's not my thing, because I've done that before. I've read scripts and shit like that. When I watch it back, it just doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel me. And the important thing is for it to be me. And if it's not, then I'm like, yeah, nah, I'm not fucking with that. Like, that's why even if this way of doing things, marketing, takes longer for it to catch and like get reach or whatever, then so be it, because this is my style. I'm not trying to be someone else just so that, I can grow the brand or my personal brand. I'll just be purely me, and then however that speed goes, whether it be like fast or slow, then so be it. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. I'll continue cutting the patterns for the Forge Denim Vest, so then I could start sewing it, and then I could add it into the core collection on my Shopify, on the POG website. But yeah, no, the aim is just to build my pattern, the core collection pattern, so that I have it there. Once I have it there, then I could build on top of that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. At least that's what I can think of. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.